Hello? 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 Are we alive? Are we alive to watch some more of my older movesets? We look pretty alive. There we go. How's everyone doing today? Hope you guys are having a good day today. Am I going to make the new movesets as soon as this is fixed? Which actually, I actually do have an update on this one finally. So, finally, I saw the hand surgeon today. I finally was able to actually go to an appointment that I scheduled without it being canceled on me. So, he gave me a proper diagnostic. He gave me an x-ray. He confirmed that it is tendinitis. And then he scheduled for me a surgery. So in 2 weeks from tomorrow, on the 9th, I'm going to get my they're going to do surgery on my hand, finally get this fixed. So after the surgery, I gotta let it rest for a couple weeks. But once I do, I should be able to get right back to work, right back to making movesets, right back to drawing, right back to all those things that I miss doing. So yeah, how's you guys' day doing? Oh, did I forget to change the number of the stream again? I guess I did. I will fix that right quick. Pretty bad about that, aren't I? Alrighty. So, with that said and done out of the way, who's ready to watch some heavy movesets? This moveset is very heavy, I would say. Wouldn't you guys say? Am I still gonna do that giant stream to finish those thumbnails? No, there's no way that's happening now. If I was actually able to stay on schedule and keep drawing the movesets over time, then maybe, sure, but not since I was forced to stop. Yeah, there's no way. That unfortunately is not a realizable thing. Also, I'm surprised by the significant lack of a Mr. Maniac, because I know he loves TF2. Let me see. I'm curious if he is on Discord. He is. He's on Do Not Disturb, though. I'm kind of curious if I ping him, if he'll show up. Friendly heads up to 1 at Mr. Maniac. Rewatching heavy move set now. Okay. Am I excited for the 5 Nights at Freddy's movie? Not really. I wasn't really planning on seeing it. Have I seen The Amazing Digital Circus? Yes, I have. I thought it was good. Do I know what TF2 character I'm going to do next if I do another one? I do know. I'm not going to say what it is, though. You don't see anything wrong with these three personally? I still think it's good to go over them anyway. Have a second look. And Maniac might not be here, so he's probably going to end up missing this. We shall see. I'll post the stream link into my Discord links channel just in case. regardless of such. All right, so you guys ready to go? You guys ready to get this started? Do I like talking with my fans on either Discord or Discord DMs? Yeah, I don't mind it. Probably not DMs though. I generally keep the DMs muted for those who I don't directly have on my friends list. But yeah, like I don't mind I don't mind chatting with you guys. Cooper, there you are. Cooper, do you know where Maniac is? I know he was really looking forward to this one. And I do gotta get this started soon. It's like, I can only stall for time for so long. There he is, cool. Alright, let's get started. I stalled for as long as I could, Maniac. Alright, let's get this going.
I am heavy weapons guy. And this is my weapon.
I thought for a second that it was for some reason like low resolution, but no, it was just an effect of the camera blur. So that's fine. My first Team Fortress 2 moveset. I know for a lot of people this one was actually kind of a big deal. Oh, and thank you so much for the $2, FNAF Guy fan. Only here for Freddy. Freddy will be next.
The Heavy Weapons Guy. Real name, Mikhail. Job, Mowdown. Being possibly...
I remember there was some people that... Or, not some people. I think it was like a guy who got on me for saying that his name was Mikhail. When he was like, his name is Misha. And I was like, yes, that's what his family calls him, I guess, for short. I guess it's like a Russian thing, I don't know, but his name is Mikhail.
One of the most dangerous members of the Team Fortress group of mercenaries, having the biggest build and the biggest guns to back it up. The Heavy's role is probably the simplest among the mercs, to take down as many people as possible in the shortest amount of...
Also, yes, because I know some people were asking me about this in the comments like a while back. A lot of this footage is just like bot footage because it's way easier to try to record a controlled environment in a bot match compared to like trying to play with a bunch of random people where the internet connection isn't exactly stable, if that makes any sense.
Time, while also tanking the most damage while doing so. Despite being such a dangerous mercenary, one whose hit list you certainly do not want to be on, he's actually a somewhat gentle giant when off the battlefield. I'm not kidding. Despite what all those fan videos might make you think, Mikhail was one of the most calm and composed members of the mercenary team, not to mention one of the most intelligent. The big guy actually has a PhD in Russian literature.
Is this canon? I remember this was brought up at some point. Yeah, like in this poker game. This probably isn't actually canon, but I still like to think he has a PhD, right? I mean, he seems smart enough for one. Like, is it really that big of a deal if it is canon or not?
So he's actually more of a doctor than the medic is, ironically enough, considering that the medic lost.
You know what? I'm going to consider this canon because the idea of the Heavy being more of a doctor than the medic is still so funny to me.
His medical license. Anyways, the Heavy when coming to Smash would be pretty straightforward, mechanically feeling just like he does in his own game, being a fairly bulky character that moves slow, but hits hard. Heavy would be a super heavyweight character, because of course, he'd have 2 jumps and no additional movement options. So while the Heavy does have a fair amount of dangerous firepower, I'll be saving them for his special attacks. So for his basic attacks, he will be solely relying on close quarters combat, with large reliance on his main melee weapon, his own fists. Now melee combat in TF2 is fairly shallow, not bringing enough to the table to really fill out an entire moveset, so I did need to do a lot of innovation for the Heavy. So while researching, I decided to have the Heavy use martial arts that he would most likely know, and I actually found that giving him 2 styles of Russian martial arts ended up being the most appropriate. And not just because he himself...
Oh, crawling? Yeah, some people I remember bringing that up beforehand. Honestly, I get it. I still don't think for this moveset it's necessary. I don't think for this moveset in particular he needs the crawl. Because he's already a big build, and yeah, I just don't think it's necessary. I don't think he really needs to crawl. Or crouch walk or whatever. Yeah, I still don't think it's necessary for this moveset. Because the big thing with, I feel like a big thing with crawling characters mainly is literally to kind of, it's mainly for spacing purposes to get underneath certain characters. I know there are some characters in Smash that can crawl that really probably don't need to. A big example I can think of is Bowser. But I think mechanically, I just don't think it's necessary here.
Is Russian, but because they actually do fit with Heavy's personality. The first is Sistema.
And thank you so much for the 20 Canadian dollars, Maniac. I think some parts of what Heavy says in Poker Night is canon, though Heavy does say some things that doesn't fit the timeline. Plus, I don't think Heavy plays poker with Strong Bad on weekends. Don't think that fits the timeline. I mean, I would still like to believe that Heavy is still more of a doctor than Medic, because that to me is hilarious.
Combat style that focuses less on physical strength and more on controlling your opponent's body through critical hits and precise movements while keeping a cool head. The moves of Sistema also become more effective by putting your whole body weight into your strikes to increase its effectiveness, while at the same time using attacks with the intent of throwing your opponent off balance to make it that much harder for them to fight back. And the final thing that most users of Sistema work to do is toughen up their body, training to be able to tank any kind of blow so that if you do get hit, it won't break your concentration. Considering the fact that the Heavy is cool-headed, bulky, and is known for tanking hits, this style just makes so much sense for him. So while it doesn't necessarily require brute strength to be effective, having that strength wouldn't hurt by any means, making the Heavy all the scarier when using Sistema to easily take his foes down. The other style is known as Sambo, which is short for a word that I'm not even going to attempt to say out loud because I know I'm going to butcher it. Sambo is a style that focuses on submissions to take his foes down. The other style is known as Sambo, which is short.
Samo Zashita Bez Uru Ziaya. Did I get that right? I probably still butchered it, so.
Short for a word that I'm not even going to attempt to say out loud because I know I'm going to butcher it. Sambo is a style that focuses on submissions to take your opponents down, and combine this with Sistema's style of throwing your opponent.
I have nothing against the martial arts thing. I think it makes sense, even if it boils down to more so to just he punch and graps a lot. Well, guess what? He would have done that regardless. Yeah. Yeah.
Off balance makes it that much more effective. The Heavy using Sambo makes so much sense considering the fact that for Smash, heavyweight characters are known for being some of the scariest grapplers in the roster. And using the Sambo style of fighting, the Heavy would be no different. So with all of that explained, let's get right into the Heavy's attacks, with his jab being the most recognizable. It would just be a 2-hit semi-flammable jab that would have him give the old 1-2 with each arm one at a time, just like we see him do when using his normal melee attack in TF2. His dash attack could be a short, lunging, close-landing hook. It wouldn't have a whole lot of forwards momentum, but it would actually be a unique dash attack that could launch foes backwards if it connects properly. His side tilt would be a simple horizontal swinging hook punch forwards. A bit slow to start, but it hits hard, and does slightly move the Heavy forwards as he puts all of his weight into the attack. So as such, while his arm would deal heavy damage, his whole body would actually act as a hitbox, but it wouldn't hurt as much as his arm would. The up tilt would be a semi-quick uppercut, referencing the uppercut that the Heavy uses if he ever gets a critical hit while using his fists. It would hit slightly above and front while also hitting directly above. Heavy's down tilt could be a quick low to the ground sweep kick. It wouldn't have a whole lot of range, but it would have a chance to trip foes if hit at the right angle, allowing for easy follow-ups. The Heavy side smash would be a powerful straightforward punch while he wears his killing gloves of boxing. It would be slow, but it would hurt. His up smash would be a simple punch straight upwards, another move that would hit hard, but really would only be able to hit foes directly above Heavy.
I kind of want to change this one because this one's a little too samey compared to the up tilt. I'm going to say a possible change for this one. Because it's either a possible change for this one or a possible change for the up tilt. So let me see here. Probably this one can change. So a possible change.
His down smash would actually be one that can only hit in front, not behind. He'd do a double hammer punch forward, smashing the ground. It wouldn't have as much range or power as his side smash, but it would be a little faster and would actually be able to bury opponents if it properly lands. I made it only be able to hit in front, since generally when playing TF2, Heavy is dangerous to face head on, but he does have a glaring weakness to attacks from behind, as he does turn a little slower than the other mercs, and being so big makes him a prime target for a spy's butterfly knife. His job is to defend his teammates behind him with his huge hulking frame, and as such, he needs to rely on them to support him and watch his flank. Anyways, getting into the aerials, the neutral air can have the Heavy do a spinning lariat. He'd spin 3 times, but it'd launch foes upon contacts would really only be able to hit once, and it would only be able to hit horizontally, not vertically. His forward air could be a simple straight forwards punch, the back air could be a quick horizontal clothesline punch swinging backwards, the up air could be a quick clap with both hands straight up above his head. This move would have his hands start at his side, so it would cover a lot of space over himself. And the down air would be a simple stomp downwards with a single foot, which of course would be capable of spiking if it sweet spots.
Okay. So far, so good.
Now for some of the Heavy's scariest moves, his grabs. He'd grab with both hands and would pummel by headbutting. His forward throw could have him lift the foe over his shoulder, then slam them into the ground in front, bouncing the foe into the air forwards. His back throw could have him flip the foe over his knee and slam them into the ground to bounce them into the air backwards. The up throw could have him lift the foe up and then break their back over one of his shoulders, causing them to fly into the air. And the down throw can have the Heavy break their back over his knee, greatly popping their back while also slightly popping them into the air.
Heavy likes to break backs. Makes sense for him, I would say.
Now for the special attacks, here's what you guys have been waiting for. Guns, guns, and more guns. For his neutral special, he'll use his
Forgot about the stupid octopus holding multiple guns.
primary weapon, Sasha, the minigun. You'll need to hold down the special button to make this work. When you do, Heavy will pull out Sasha and begin to fire her straight forwards. It will have a bit of start lag before it starts to fire, just like there is when you need to ready your miniguns before firing them in TF2. The gun will shoot a massive amount of bullets that spread out the further they fly, and this gun will have insane range, going about as far as Robin's Thoron special to give a comparison. Each bullet deals individually scaled damage based on the further out they go, with it dealing less damage the further out, but a lot of damage when closer to point blank. Each bullet's knockback also scales as well, with them dealing small flinching damage when closer, but won't deal any knockback when further away. But as such, getting caught in the Gatling fire generally will just slowly push the caught foe away if they were close enough. You can also slowly change the direction that the minigun is firing by pointing up or down on the control stick as it fires, but the direction can only go so far. It can't go straight up or down. Also, you'll be unable to turn around while firing. You will be locked into the direction you're facing until you let go of the special button. You'll only be able to have the minigun fire for $133,333 worth of bullets at a time, or for those who didn't get that reference, 4 seconds before being forced to cool down. And there generally will be a bit of end lag once the special button is let go, and even more so if you force it to go for the whole 4 seconds. The final thing I should mention is that the bullets will not count as projectiles, so they cannot be reflected, but they also deal very little shield damage, so if it's shielded, generally you'll be able to keep your shield up against it safely until the Heavy is forced to cool down, so long as your shield wasn't too small to begin with, that is. For the Heavy side special,
I'm making a small addition here that I'm surprised I didn't think of beforehand. So, the minigun being the neutral pistol, I think is needed to stay, because that's his main weapon, that's his primary weapon. I'm surprised I never gave him the option to walk while shooting, though. I think because back then I thought that would, that'd be weird with how, that would contrast with the ability to aim. But if you think about it, I already had it set up where he can't turn while shooting. So I think giving him the ability to walk with the control stick, I think should be fine, even if it's like a slow walk, just to help him a little bit with spacing. So the idea is that, if you're using the control stick, here, let me do this. Where's my So like, let's say he has the control. Here's the controller. If you're using like the left stick to aim, obviously you'd hold up or down to aim it. But then I imagine, I'm trying to think of how well that would work. Actually, how would that work if you're standing still though? Wait, no. Okay, so here's the thing. If you want to stand still, just hold it up or down to aim it. But if you want to walk forward or backward, just hold it. And if you want to aim it while moving, literally just like do this kind of deal. While holding it forward, tilt it up or down as you like while you're firing to aim it while walking, and you can also do that while walking backward. So so I think mechanically that should be reasonable enough. I think that would work. Like, literally the only way for that to work is if you can't turn around, but I already had that to begin with, and I think that's still fine to let him not be able to turn around. No jumping, however. Yeah, no, jumping's not needed. Like, the wall, it's literally just for spacing. So he's not totally helpless in that state. So yeah, so giving him, let him slowly walk while firing using the control stick. Hold up or down to aim. Hold left or right to walk. Combine to use both. Yeah. So I think that's reasonable to be able to let him walk. Again, simply to give him a little more variety. Well, not variety. That's the wrong word to use here. So it's not as dangerous to use, I should say, because it's his main weapon. It's heavies are known for using that minigun. So if you put him in a situation where he's too vulnerable to use it, people are not going to want to use it. So you got to make sure he has some option, at least for safety purposes. Anyway, I'm mumbling on.
He'll use his shotgun, firing off a single blast from it as soon as it's used. It will only fire one shot at a time, but you can fire them a little more quickly by pressing the side special over and over again to have the heavy fire it consecutively. The blast from the shotgun itself works as a faster but much shorter ranged version of the minigun. Like any shotgun, the blast spreads out the farther it goes, but it doesn't really go that far. The damage it deals scales based on how close the foe is to the shotgun, with it pretty much dealing small flinching damage when hit at the maximum reach, but dealing a lot of hurt when shot at point blank range, with a high amount of damage and knockback. Getting shot from it at point blank range also deals a lot of shield damage, so you'd best not stick around for too long with your shield out when you see that boomstick staring you in the face. Now for the heavies up special...
Okay, gonna make the same addition for this one, giving him the ability to walk. So, if I recall correctly, with how I built the Scout, I built the Scout to be able to move around constantly while still firing his weapons. So I think for this case, like, I don't think the heavy needs to aim the shotgun. I think just firing it forward is fine. But yeah, I think he does still at least need the ability to walk. So I'm gonna add the addition. So kind of like what I did with the Scout. You can walk while firing. Holding the button down will have him keep firing. And has a reload cooldown. So pretty much what I did with Scout. Also, thank you so much, darling, for the $2. Even adventure mode. Any for the adventure mode? Well, I'd say for now. So go ahead and save it for when we talk about the adventure mode. Let's try to stay on focus for now today. But thank you though. I really appreciate that. Okay. He can jump though. Yeah, actually, good call. Good call. He should also jump while firing. So the idea is that you use the minigun mainly, to like as a very powerful neutral option to attack those that are trying to stay away from you. So you have a very powerful long range option. If they start coming in on you, you can then either punch them, or you can whip out the shotgun, which is a lot of. So the minigun obviously is a lot of like shred damage. The shotgun is a lot of burst damage. Why am I BJ and not RJ? Because it's Bob Jennings. So Robert and Bob are the same name for some reason. It's just always been that way. So it's Bob Jennings. Okay.
Well, it could just be a simple rising uppercut jump, in reference to the uppercut that he does when he crits with his fists once again. It doesn't go very high, but it does hit hard, being at its strongest if it connects with the foe at the very beginning of the uppercut, just like how uppercuts generally work in Smash.
So here's my question. Because I know back when I first made this moveset, a lot of people pointed out to me the man hook thing. I forgot what it was called, but it's like a grappling hook. And they brought up how, and I mentioned how if I knew about that, I probably would have defaulted to that. And thank you so much for the $2, Ray. I really appreciate that. My question though is, after all this time, do I still think he should have the grappling hook from Manpower? Thank you. Or should I keep it as the uppercut, or should it be something different entirely? What do you guys think? I say we keep the uppercut because it feels more fitting to the Heavy's character. Why not? Well, I don't think this is a situation where it can be both. I think it should be sort of like Min-Min's grapple gun in the air, uppercut on the ground. I don't know about that. I still think the grappling hook's the best option. I say keep it. Oh, we're kind of split here. Yeah, because I don't know. Uppercut is too generic, and Manpower hook doesn't fit too well with the big Heavy. Should we pull this one? All right, we'll pull this one. Let me see. Keep the uppercut. Change to grappling hook. Or something else entirely. Alright, so we'll come back to this. Let's just keep watching for now while you guys pull that one out.
And finally, for his down special, this will have the Heavy take a snack break. The Heavy is the only merc class in TF2 that eats food as a secondary weapon, with the different kinds of snacks having differing effects for the Heavy depending on what he eats. And that's what he'll do for his down special in Smash. He'll be able to snack on 1 out of 3 different kinds of food, but which one he pulls out is completely random. It'll also take him a full 5 seconds to be able to scarf it all down to gain its effects. But if he's interrupted at any point while he's eating, however, he'll drop it on the ground, and it'll become a food item that anybody can pick up and eat. If the food is picked up and eaten this way, even if the Heavy that dropped it picks it up, they'll automatically eat it, but they'll only gain half of the effects that the food item would have given if the Heavy ate it uninterrupted. Now, as for what the food items are, the first can be his favorite meal, the ever iconic sandwich. The sandwich is pretty straightforward. It heals an automatic 30% of damage if eaten uninterrupted, and only 15% of damage if eaten off the ground. The next is Delico's Bar. This item only heals 5% of damage, however, it'll give a 10-second long regen effect to the Heavy that'll heal 15% of damage over the course of 10 seconds. If eaten off the ground, however, it'll only heal 2.5% of damage and give its consumer a 5-second long regen effect that only heals 7.5% of damage. And the final item that can be pulled can be the Buffalo Steak Sandwich, which won't actually heal, but will instead...
That is not a sandwich. Where is the bread?
Buff. Hello. It'll give the Heavy 2 different effects that'll last for 15 seconds when eaten uninterrupted, and 7.5 seconds when eaten off the ground. The first effect will be a simple speed boost, increasing his running and jumping speed, but will slightly increase the distance he can be launched. As for the other effect, this will actually get into the Heavy's gimmick.
Okay, before that, I'm thinking I want to change this to strictly be the sandwich. The thing is, though, it would need to be kind of changed a little bit. Because obviously just having the ability to heal 30% of your health at any given time is obviously a bit overpowered. So here's what I'm thinking. So change, make it just the sandwich. And I think how to set this up. Have him continually heal a small amount of health over time while he eats it. Will stop healing if he cancels it or gets interrupted. Will still drop it if attacked while eating. You can keep... How should I build this one? I feel like for something like this, there should be some kind of cooldown. Like some kind of like a period where after you're using it, you can't use it again for a little bit. Like you gotta wait for it to like reset. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. I think having other kinds of food could work as a rare thing. Like, sometimes it could randomly be other food, but they'll be the same thing. That's not a terrible idea. I mean, the TF2 purists will probably get mad at me for that. I mean, they already got mad at me for saying that the soldier stomps with his man treads or whatever the shoes were called, but, like, it hand wavy, whatever. But that's not a bad idea. Here, I'll actually make a list of that. Could be other foods randomly and rarely, but nothing changes between them. I'm trying to think of how this part should work. I'm trying to think, should I have it where once you use it, whether it's canceled or interrupted or whatever, you still have to wait for a full cooldown before you can use it again? Or have it set up where you can keep, even if you cancel it, or if you can't, as long as you cancel it. So if you don't drop, okay, actually, no, I got it. I talked myself through it. Okay, I got it. If you cancel it, he saves the rest of the sandwich and can continue eating it at any point. If you drop or finish the sandwich, then you must wait for a cooldown before he gets another. How does that sound? I think that's actually probably the best way to do this. So again, like, so let's say you activate down special. He just starts eating. While he's eating, he slowly regenerates his health over time. Should it be 30%? That might be a little much. We'll come back to that. So while he's eating, if you eat the whole sandwich, obviously that's a set percent of food that of health that you regain. You can cancel the eating at any point. If you do, he puts the rest of the sandwich away. If you reactivate down special, he'll pull the half-eaten sandwich out and just keep eating it, and he'll keep doing that until he finishes it. Then once you finish the sandwich, the down special becomes completely unusable for a set amount of time. You have to wait for the cooldown to end before a new sandwich shows up, and you can do it again. But if he's attacked while he's eating the sandwich, he drops it. And at that point, it then becomes a food item, which, yeah, he can pick up and whatever. Which he or anyone else will pick up. And that will also force a cooldown on it. Overall, how does that sound? Also, hey, Brandon, how you doing? Will the buff be half and he saves it? Like, for this version, there won't be any buffs. It's just a heal. Like, it's gonna, like, I'm removing the chocolate bar and the steak. It's strictly the sandwich. I'm not really sold on that myself. Eating lunchbox items is heavier or more risky than anything. Something you gotta commit to. I get that. I could say, like, there could be, like, a bit of lag on it. So even if you cancel it, you still got, like, there's still a bit of danger. So I can make a note of that. Like, so it is still something that, to a degree, you have to commit to. The difference with, I guess you also got to think about the difference between the setting of Team Fortress 2 and the setting of Smash Brothers. In Team Fortress 2, you can hide. If you're in a scrap and things get dicey, you can get away if you need to and heal up, and then take all the time you need. Like, I got a feeling most people playing TF2 probably aren't eating the sandwich in the middle of a gunfight. They're getting away first. You don't really get that luxury in Smash, so we gotta kind of rework it a bit to be able to make it where it's still useful but still true to what it is, if that makes any sense. I think lunchbox items should be randomizable. That's how I had it before, and honestly, I'm gonna move away from that. I think just keep, like, 'cause I liked, who was it earlier that said it? Like, somebody in chat said it. I apologize that I totally forgot. I think it was Wednesday? Wenday. Yeah, I think it was Wenday that brought it up. Like, they brought up how he can randomly pull out other, like, food items to eat. But they're all going to do the same thing no matter what. Again, sorry to my TF2 purists, but I don't think it's that big a deal. Alright. I would say as long as there's a sandwich on the field, the cooldown will not start until it's been eaten. No, because the idea is that if you lose it, then you just lost it. Like, you can pick it up and eat it, but at that point, it just becomes a normal food item. Either that, or here's an idea. I mean, I don't know how willing Heavy is to eat a sandwich off the ground, but there's a plate there, so I guess it doesn't matter. So let's actually do this. If Heavy picks up his dropped sandwich, he'll put it back in reserve. Other players picking it up just eat it like a food item. And on top of that, let's also add this as well. It heals for half of whatever amount the sandwich was worth before Heavy dropped it. So let's say Heavy drops the sandwich after eating half of it. If another player picks it up, then that player will heal for effectively a quarter of the full health that a sandwich gives to the Heavy. So a lot of intricacies that we're putting into a sandwich here, but I mean, it's just funny. Is more so what it is. BJ is cooking the sandwich. All right. I think this is probably a good way to set up the sandwich here. So, removes a bit of the RNG factors that I know so many of you Smash fans hate. All right. I think that's good. All right, so let's get back to the special then. So, how does the poll look? So, it looks like most people. So, we have 85 votes, and 46 of you guys, so nearly half, are saying to change it to the grappling hook. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and do that then. I have a funny idea, actually. I know this isn't quite what manpower grappling hook. I know this isn't quite what the grappling hook does in the game, but I'm gonna do this anyway because it sounds funny. So here's what we'll do. So the grappling hook shoots a hook into the air, which acts as a tether. If this hits another player, Heavy pulls them in, then uppercuts them when they get close. There we go. How's that sound, guys? Shoots the hook, pulls them in, bop! That actually sounds like a very heavy thing for him to do. Because it's like, yeah, we don't see too many like super heavy characters using tethers or grappling hooks. But the idea is that, because obviously someone like Heavy, like him being able to pull himself to a ledge, that's one thing. Him pulling himself to a player, even if it's like another heavy player, just seems a little eh. But if he's the one using his weight as like a factor, of course he's gonna use it to plant himself down and pull the player to him, and then destroy them when they get close. The hook technically pulls the player to the opponent if hits. Not, yeah, I get it. I realize that that's the original idea, but like that's why I think this is gonna be just me innovating a little bit here, specifically to something that makes more sense for Heavy's character. Like that makes sense for like the lighter characters like Scout and whatnot. Even though I didn't even give Scout, I know I gave Soldier the hook, and I don't quite recall how I set it up for him, but that's not really a factor here because I think the idea of the Heavy, because he's a big guy, like because the idea of Heavy grappling hooking himself to somebody, even if it makes sense for gameplay wise from TF2, like the idea, like if Heavy grapples someone like Mario, like what makes more sense from a weight perspective? The grappling hook keeping Mario in place so Heavy is pulled to him, or for Heavy's weight to be, or for Heavy to be too big to the point where the grappling hook forces Mario to come to him. Like, I am going to innovate here. So again, I apologize to my TF2 purists here, but I think this is what makes the most sense, and also really adds more to the Heavy's grapple, like literal like just grapple mechanics. Because for the most part, even though I brought up the Russian style of grappling beforehand, there really wasn't a whole lot of the grapple aspect here. So I think having the up special be a grapple in this fashion, I think works well for him. Also, thank you, Professor Beam, for the $2. How does moveset for Dragonborn sound? I don't mind it, as long as he gets enough requests. Heavy being the anchor and pulling opponents in makes more sense, to be honest. Yeah, that's where my mindset is. All right, cool. So specials. So for the most part, yeah, specials are what's gone through the most changes. Gimmick. And thank you once again, Maniac. Makes it more heavy.
He has a random chance to crit. Yep. Just like the hero smash attacks. Except for every single one of his moves. Don't worry, it's not as broken as Heroes is.
I still argue that Heroes isn't even that broken, honestly.
Kinda. Unlike
Never mind, I take it back. Never mind, I take that back.
Heroes, this only increases the amount of damage the attack deals, not its launch power. And unlike the crits in TF2, which deal 3 times the amount of normal damage, for Smash it'll only deal double damage. Every single one of Heavy's individual attacks have a 2% chance to crit, so if you are going to get hit by a crit, you best hope that it's one of his weaker attacks and not any of his stronger ones. Now, as for what I was talking about regarding the Buffalo Steak Sandwich...
Yeah, that's not important. So yeah, okay, so I'm keeping this, by the way. I know there was a lot of people that got mad at me for adding a crit system. Don't care. There's a reason why I still have it on Soldier, and there's a reason why I still have it on the much more recent Scout, and I can promise you, every future TF2 moveset I make will still have this function. I'm keeping this. Alrighty.
During those 15 or 7.5 seconds, but we're just going to omit that for Smash. Now, with all that said, if they can get the Heavy to drop it, making it so that all of their attacks have a chance to crit until the effects wear off. I should also mention real quick that the Steak Sandwich does have one more effect that forces the Eater to only be able to use melee weapons in TF2, but we're just going to omit that for Smash. Now, with all that said, some of Heavy's other attacks actually will have a naturally higher chance to crit compared to his other attacks. His side smash using his Killing Gloves of Boxing actually has a natural 5% chance to crit, turning it into a 10% chance when under the effects of the steak. His side special with the shotgun has an 8% chance to crit, with that jumping up to 15 under the steak's effects. And finally, his up special uppercut has a natural 12% chance to crit, with that jumping up to 20% under the steak's effects, potentially turning his up special into one of his most consistent moves to deal a lot of damage if you're lucky enough.
Since I'm keeping at least a part of the uppercut for the up special with the grappling hook, I think I want to keep that aspect too, where that uppercut has the highest chance to crit. Like, obviously, because I'm removing the steak sandwich, there's like the double crit chances obviously it's just gone completely now. He always just has a set crit chance. But I do still like the idea of certain attacks having a naturally higher crit chance, and I like the idea of the uppercut still having that high crit chance. Alrighty. This is not changing.
Are you sure this will work?
I have no idea!
For the Heavy's final smash,
You are a lunatic if you think it should be anything else but this. You are a lunatic if you think it should be anything else but this. I'm glad we had this discussion.
gained some support from his best bro, the Medic, and would be amped up with an uber charge. This final smash would act as a makeshift type of laser final smash, like Samus or Inklings, except instead of a laser, he'd fire his minigun, shooting a barrage of bullets for 5 seconds that all deal big damage and knockback, slowly pushing foes away and ending with a large amount of knockback to get that final KO. Obviously, Heavy and Medic are invincible during this smash, as they are in an uber charge, and the smash can be slightly angled as it's fired.
Should also make a note as well. So the bullets that are fired from the minigun during this final smash are not like the same kind of bullets used for the neutral special. It's like a super I would like to imagine there's like a lot more like just like special effects, and like the bullets are like bigger or something and they go much farther. It just looks more grand, if that makes any sense. However, I can suggest at least one thing. Assuming Heavy would be the only TF2 rep, I think it would be fun if all the mercs could show up to get pot shots. I mean, that could work whether or not Heavy was the mech, like, by itself. But yeah, no. It's like you clarified, like, a little further down, Maniac. Yeah, this is the final Smash. Like, this can't change. Like, this is just too iconic. Alright, colors.
For the Heavy's colors, his default would have him in the colors of red, based off the red team hired by Redmond Man, and is seen as the main color team based off the box art and such. And the next color, of course, will have him in the other main color,
this music.
blue, based off the blue team hired by the second man brother, Lutark. Now getting into original colors, here's a gray color scheme based off the third man brother, Gray Man. Here's a purple color based off the outfits worn by the administrator and announcer of the matches, Helen, as well as her assistant, Miss Pauling. Next is a yellow color, then a green color, then a black color. And finally, we can have an alternate costume where we play as the Robo Heavy from Man vs. Machine. Now with all of those listed, I can already hear all of you behind your screens.
Where are the hats? Hats are the most important part of Team Fortress 2. Why don't these costumes have any hats?
And my retort to that?
I know! I just don't know what hat can go with what outfit.
I suppose it really doesn't matter, any can go with any. Personally, I'd like it if there were some way to be able to have any hat, preferably the Heavy specific hats, to be able to go with any costume you'd like. I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Wait, no, back that up,
If there was some way to be able to have any hat, preferably the Heavy specific hats, to be able to go with...
Octodad, what did they do to you? I did not know this hat existed.
any costume you'd like. I'm sure there's a way to do it. Now, whether or not they'd actually do it, I don't know. I'm sure that hats would be included with alternate costumes. I just can't think of any good combinations is all. Anyways, for this...
We already determined the idea of, like, because I think I brought this up in this older video, how, like, yeah, like, you can, like, there's, like, a set amount of hats that you can have with any costume, and just, like, clicking on the head of the Heavy in the character select screen would just change the hats, so either way.
Stage intro, it can show the Heavy parachuting down to the ground.
Changing that immediately. Forgot about that one, actually. Let me move this down here as well real quick. Yeah, the engineer teleporting in, like that, like, because I remember, like, yeah, a lot of you guys brought that one up to me, like the moments, like, once this moveset came out, and my first retort was like, dang it! Why didn't I think of that? And that's what it is for the more current Team Fortress 2 characters. So,
as if he just jumped out of a plane or something to get ready for his mission. For his taunts, oh boy, was this easy. As TF2 is literally filled to the brim with taunts. For Smash though, I'll just make his 3 taunts his 3 default ones for now. His first taunt can have him pull out Sasha, give her a big hug, and say,
Kiss me.
He does this if you taunt while equipped with the minigun. His next can have him spin his shotgun on his finger, put it on his shoulder, and then give the cutthroat gesture. For this, he would say,
All of you are dead!
Unless he's doing a one-on-one. If he is, he'd say,
You, yes, you are dead!
This would be his shotgun taunt, obviously. And his final taunt can be the taunt that he uses while only using his fists. The Showdown taunt. A taunt where he readies himself for a quick draw showdown like people used to do in the Old West, and then does a finger bang forwards while shouting,
Pow! Ha ha!
Now this taunt was unique in TF2, because if there was somebody actually in the line of sight of Heavy's finger as soon as he finger shoots them, it will actually kill them, as if he shot an invisible bullet out of his finger. So for Smash, it's only appropriate that it do the same thing here. Well, maybe not the killing part, it'll just do a lot of damage. It can even crit. But unlike in TF2, it actually won't go that far, only going a little bit of distance away from where Heavy is standing. And also for kicks, if you could actually land this taunt kill, it would automatically break shields, as a punishment for anyone who actually lets themselves get hit by it. Because honestly, there's no excuse for you to get hit by it with the large amount of startup that it has. In any which case, finally, for the victory animations, the first can have the Heavy do the Kazatsky kick and then end on a pose. The next can make reference to the end of the Meet the Heavy video, where he walks up continuously firing his minigun while shouting,
Can I some more?
and the final can show Heavy with the medic giving each other a high five, then put their arms around each other's shoulders as the Heavy flexes with his other arm and says,
We're my good team.
and that does it for Mikhail, the heavy weapons guy from...
Taunts, I don't want to change any of those. Victory animations, some people... Okay, I know this is kind of a popular one on, like, that I've seen around, where some people brought up how one of the victory animations should be, like, what is it? Where it's, like, the Heavy, like, pose with the rest of the mercs, and it, like, starts, like, closed in on him and then backs out. Do I prefer that over what I have here? I wonder. Because my only thing with that one is, like, that one I think would be a fantastic idea if the Heavy was by himself as the only rep. And that's not to say that, again, these movesets are all completely theoretical, obviously. Like, I never make these with the idea that, like, there's another character for sure that's going to be in, or that he is going to be the rep, or the single rep, or whatever. I'm just thinking here. That one I think I'm going to have to think on. And if there is one that I'm going to change, if I were to replace it with that, then again, I almost don't want to use it because other people thought about it before me and told me about it, so I'll think about it. Overall, though, I think that was all fine. Okay, so yeah, so that was Heavy.
Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, so that was Heavy. Oh, no, I agree, Maniac. Heavy would definitely be the rep. Like, if any one Team Fortress 2 character were getting into Smash, it would be Heavy. Like, I would be shocked if they added a Team Fortress 2 rep and it wasn't Heavy. I would legitimately be shocked. Like, Late, did I miss anything? Only the entirety of the Heavy moveset. Okay. So, yeah, overall, not bad. Like, yeah, it's just the up smash that I would change outright. The adjustments to the neutral special and side special to give him a little more movement. Changing the neutral special and side special to give him a little more movement. Changing the up special to the grappling hook. Changing the down special that it's sandwich only and adjusting it to better, to make it a little more usable. And the intro, the stage intro, changing it into the engineer teleporter. I'll debate with myself whether or not on that victory animation later, because I'm fine with what they are right now, but regardless of such. Okay, yeah, Heavy's for the most part pretty good. Let us move on to one that I know a lot of you probably are here for. Am I ready for the FNAF movie? Nope, because I don't plan on seeing it. I never really plan on seeing it because I've never really been into Five Nights at Freddy's. Later, Maniac.
I would like to rest your worries now. There will not be any jump scares in this video. Don't worry, I hate them too. That said, the content of this character may still be
And I still find it funny, like, ignoring the joke I make with the down special, how there are still some people that claim that there are jump scares in the video. I'll point out some of those points that some of those spots that I can remember anyway that people claimed are jump scares, and then I will sit there and laugh at them and call them big babies like the heavy would.
a little unsettling to some people, so as such, viewer discretion is advised. Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at Freddy's, the series of horror games that took the world by storm. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that, considering how quickly each game came out one after another. Freddy is the mascot of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a pizzeria very much in the same...
Those glitch effects were not supposed to be intentional. That might have just been a corruption of the original video file that I used, and didn't find a different one for some reason. I don't know why I was okay with just keeping. I guess maybe I thought, oh, it looks spooky enough, I'll keep it. No, that wasn't intentional. I think that was just a file corruption.
Vein as the ever-popular Chuck E. Cheese. And just like Chuck E. Cheese, Fazbear's Pizza even has creepy-looking animatronics that were made to entertain kids on stage. Except these animatronics don't stay on their stage, as they have a function called free roaming mode, which allows them to walk around the pizzeria freely. And during the night, they hunt for poor underpaid security guards to stuff into animatronic suits. But not before completely stressing players out and giving them the loudest jump scare of a lifetime. Now there is a lot of lore behind this series, with more being added every time something new is made for the Five Nights franchise. It's pretty complicated, but to give a rough summary of what we can gather, there seemed to have been a series of child murders that happened at the pizzeria, and their bodies were stuffed into the animatronic suits to hide them.
Also, I'll let you know how much of this information that I explain here, whether or not it's still accurate, after the amount of time that has passed since I've made this video, and how much of it has changed, or whatever new information we have, I guess.
Only then for the spirits of the departed kids to take possession of the mascots. And that's about as far as I'm willing to go with this story. Even with all the research that I've done, there's still elements that I don't fully understand, nor care to want to try and understand. Plus, none of that is really important to this moveset as a whole. So enough dawdling, let's get right into how Freddy would be if he were to free roam his way to Smash. Freddy Fazbear being a horror-themed character, I feel should be designed as such, but not necessarily scary for the players. He'd have movements and such that would be unsettling to watch, for sure, but I think he'd have attacks and moves that would be more terrifying from the perspective of the other characters that he'd be fighting. But his playstyle would still definitely be one that would cause a lot of pressure and stress for the other players who have to face him, not unlike the poor fools willing to subjugate themselves to playing the Five Nights games. Freddy would be a pretty heavy character, not surprising since he is a big and bulky animatronic made of metal and dead rotting children. He'd only have 2 jumps and no additional movement options. When designing this moveset for Freddy Fazbear, there were some key elements that I wanted to emphasize. 1, he's a robotic animatronic who's really seen better days. 2, he's the mascot of a pizzeria. 3, he's a bear. And 4, he's a horror character who's actually out for your stocks.
People called this a jump scare because it was a scene transition that shows a jump scare like part. People, I guess, got spooked by this. I wish I had one of those, like, what are they, the soundboards where I just click a button and it plays a sound file, because I would have the heavy yelling babies right at that moment. Yeah, exactly. Jump scares have sounds too. These aren't jump scares. These are scene transitions. If I didn't like Five Nights at Freddy's, why'd I do Springtrap? I mean, people requested it. Like, I don't have to care for or like a series just or whatnot. I'll still put in the effort like I do for every other moveset. Like, because I still have an understanding of like what the characters are, or let me rephrase that. I still put forth the amount of some amount of research and effort into trying to understand these characters so I can make movesets for you guys if you request them. That doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be games or whatnot that I personally would care for or play on my own time.
So getting right into things, Freddy could have a 3-hit jab that could lead into a rapid jab, with the first 2 hits being a swing from each arm one at a time, with his mic arm always swinging second, and the 3rd hit having him do a quick bite forwards. Get used to that now, by the way. Freddy's like to bite. His rapid jab will have him constantly bite
Scene number 2 that people claimed were a jump scare.
over and over and over again, making horrible noises as he does, and ending with a big bite when the rapid jab ends.
Okay, something I should also emphasize as well. The jab itself is fine. I'm going to make a little emphasis here. So, emphasize. Show Freddy being a bit more limp. So the idea is that, as he's like swinging his limbs around and whatnot, it looks like he's literally swinging them around like in a very unsettling way.
Oh, and I'll go ahead and mention this now, but Freddy actually will have a little gimmick where any attack that involves biting actually will have a small chance to poison opponents unlucky enough to have their frontal lobes not on. The poisoning bites make reference to the toxic bite attack that we see in the RPG spin-off game, FNAF World.
People were so mad at me that I even used FNAF World stuff in this moveset at all. It's a part of the series, and if it has stuff to work with, I'm going to use it. Like, whether it's a bad game or not, I don't care. I mean, you guys still saw me using Sonic 06 stuff, and no one complained about that. I had to subjugate myself to that game, guys. Do I keep the poison thing, though? I kind of want to. Because, again, it just adds to kind of like the anxiety of getting attacked by Freddy.
His dash attack will be a leaping pounce where he lunges his whole body forwards and then crashes on the ground. This idea comes from the notion of horror monsters making that final leap for their victims while they're chasing them. Also bear, because bears will do that too. This dash attack hits hard, but is sluggish, having a bit of start lag and some end lag as he has to get...
I don't think it's the quality. Well, I don't know what it is that people... Like, people... All I know is when this moveset first came out, and it happened to get on Springtrap, there were people that got upset with me for using FNAF World stuff at all. So, I couldn't tell you why people don't like that game. I have no clue. Again, I know very little about the community of Five Nights at Freddy's. All I know about it is what research I'm able to pull up about the games themselves to be able to make the movesets. That's all I got.
Get up after falling on the ground. His side tilt would be a quick leaning forwards bite. It hits hard, comes out pretty quick, has a chance to poison, but it does have some end lag.
I'm going to change that one, because that move could also very easily just be the third hit of his jab. So, change. Into what? I don't know yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
His up tilt can show him temporarily malfunctioning for a second, causing his head to violently shake from side to side. His head, of course, is the hitbox. Hits hard, and has some end lag as the glitch,
I forgot I did this. So, I think I brought this up before. What this is happening here, this is me literally stuttering during my my recording, and I decided, you know what? I'll keep it in and make it sound like it's glitchy. So this is literally me taking advantage of my own speech impediment.
And has some end lag as the glitch in his hardware goes away.
I do still like this up tilt though. I like this one.
For his down tilt, well, actually before that, whenever Freddy crouches, he'll just go limp and his eyes would switch off, looking just like Golden Freddy. Now for his down tilt, he'd quickly lunge his head forwards as his neck extends for a quick low to the ground bite. Can these endoskeletons actually extend their joints like that? I don't know, but it's creepy.
You know what? They probably can't actually do that. So I'm going to go ahead and change, because I still like the idea of him crouching going into the Golden Freddy pose. I think I will think of a different down tilt though, so I'll change this one because that one I think this one kind of is kind of pushing it a little bit. So thank you for the $5, Angel Troy. I feel that I remember that Freddy Fazbear moveset came out on Halloween a few years ago. Also, BG rewatching this moveset. Yeah, that is true. I think this was my first like proper Halloween moveset.
It also makes reference to when Golden Freddy jump scares the player. For Freddy's side smash...
That's right. That's why I did that. Because when Golden Freddy jumps the player, it's Golden Freddy... It's just Golden Freddy's head, like, lunging toward the camera. So, I think that's what I was trying to recreate, but I didn't really do it well. So, I'll think of something different for that one.
Freddy would do what Freddys do best.
Scream!
He'd scream loudly forwards, emitting strong sound waves that deal big damage to the poor deaf saps in their path. He would have some limited super armor while he charges for this smash, and it would cover a wide space in front of Freddy, but it would have some end lag. For his up smash...
That one might be a potential change, depending on what... Because I gotta go back to the... Because the down special I made jump scare. I may have to go back and look at that one, but we'll see.
This can make reference to how Freddy jump scares players, with him starting from below the player's view before jumping up and wildly waving his limbs around. The smash could start with Freddy crouched down as he charges, and when releases, he'll quickly stand up, flailing his arms and head around. The action of just standing up deals big damage, and his flailing arms and head deal smaller damage, but still generally enough to send hit foes a fair distance away. This way you won't need to worry about the end lag of the move too much. It also has some super armor as he charges and at the very beginning of the attack. For his down smash, to take advantage of his more than likely articulatable body, he would spin his waist only while doing the splits, and spin his legs around multiple times.
I'm changing that one. That's not scary. That's kind of just weird. That's not scary. That's just goofy.
He would deal multiple flinching hits of damage before launching foes with the final hit. For the neutral aerial, Freddy's body can begin to short circuit and emit a lot of electricity around himself, shocking any poor sucker too close. It would come out very quick. In fact, it would be one of Freddy's fastest attacks in terms of frame data, and he would hit foes multiple times before launching them with the final hit if it connects properly. His forward aerial could be a quick bite forwards, which again has a chance to poison. His back air can have Freddy spin the upper half of his body a single time while holding his arms ahead, swinging them backwards horizontally to attack.
Okay, actually, so let's actually confirm this one now. Can the animatronics articulate like this? Like, is this something that... Because I know, like, in the games themselves, we never actually see them be able to do this, but is this something that I suppose you guys could, like, hand wave, like see happening? Like, even if it's the idea of, like, these haunted animatronics, like, breaking their own bodies to pull off these attacks. Glamrock Chica can rotate her head. Okay. Probably not, but the endos aren't even in making conditions that could work. Okay. I can see it working. Body breaking is sort of scary. Okay. Alright, so yeah. Because I don't mind keeping the rotating body parts like this. Because again, because I can also imagine, like, when this happens, like creepy like cracking sounds or something like that can happen, like metal scraping sounds can happen whenever this like during this, so it adds to the creep factor. I do think I want to change the back air though, because again it's not really, because the idea of the spinning torso can be creepy. I think I can make it creepier, so I'm gonna go ahead and change the back air. And thank you, Eric Vale, for the $2. Have I played Spider-Man 2 yet? I'm in the middle of playing it actually. I started it. I'm in the middle of it, so no spoilers, please. Because I'm only playing it whenever my sister is available to play it, because she wants to watch me play it, because she likes the story. Okay.
His up air can have him quickly spin his arms in full circles multiple times to attack upwards to deal multiple flinching hits of damage before launching foes with the final hit.
Gonna change that one as well. That just reminds me too much of Rob.
Pretty much working just like another fellow robot, Rob. Actually, Rob kinda looks like an animatronic endoskeleton. Do you think Freddy would try to shove him into a mascot suit? What kind of mascot animal do you think Rob would be? I don't even know why I asked. Anyways, for Freddy's down air, he'd just do a falling body slam, falling straight down with his whole body out. Because I imagine that it would be pretty scary to look up and see about 500 pounds of metal and fur careening straight at you. This move would hit hard, spike if it connects at the very beginning of the move, and it would have some end lag once it hits the ground. But it will end after a bit if used high enough in the air or off the stage, allowing you a chance to be able to recover so long as you didn't go too low.
Okay, down air was fine. Alright, so for the most part, yeah, there's definitely a lot more that I would change to Freddy's basic attacks at least. Okay, so point is, make him creepier.
Freddy would grab by latching onto your frontal lobe with a large bite. Despite being a bite though, grabbing itself cannot poison you. However, his pummel, which will have Freddy bite down even harder, does have a small chance to poison. His forward throw can have Freddy scream while the foe is in his mouth, destroying their eardrums while also launching them slightly forwards. The back throw can have Freddy spin only his upper body in circles while the foe is still lodged in his mouth until he finally lets go, sending them backwards. This throw would be his most dangerous kill throw.
I might change that one. I do kind of like the concept of it, but I might change it because this one screams more robot than it does horror monster. So I might change that one. I'm gonna see a possible change for this one.
The up throw can have Freddy slam the foe so hard into the ground that they bounce into the air, and for his down throw, he'd short circuit and power down while the foe was still stuck in his mouth, leading Freddy to just fall forwards, with his lifeless but heavy body crushing the foe underneath, dealing big damage and burying them into the ground. Having a move that buries, I think, is appropriate for Freddy, because you don't know true fear until you're at your opponent's mercy after they bury you in Smash. Just waiting as they loom over you, charging up their smash attack. You furiously mashing your buttons, hoping you'll be able to get free in time before they take your stock forever. Also, bears like to dig holes, so why not?
Okay. I want to keep that down throw because that's just funny. I'm probably going to change the up throw, though. I think I would like to do something a little different for the up throw and the back throw.
Now for Freddy Fazbear's special attacks, these will be some of his most frightening moves in the arsenal. For his neutral special, he'd throw his microphone forwards as a projectile. Okay, I lied. The neutral special isn't that scary. It's just a basic projectile with gravity. He'll throw his mic forwards a fair distance, it'll deal a decent amount of damage, and it'll soon hit the ground after being tossed, leading it to disappear. And as soon as he does throw it, he'll just pull out a new mic from his hammer space. If you're going to be the lead singer, you gotta be well prepared with your microphones after all. This move makes reference to the mic toss attack from FNAF World. Does throw it, he'll just pull out a new mic from his hammer space. If you're going to be the lead singer, you gotta be well prepared with your microphones after all. This move makes reference to the mic toss attack from...
He doesn't need a projectile. I think he does. No. For this kind of moveset, he does. He needs some kind of... Because, a big thing with this moveset is it's very much supposed to be like a kind of this one is much more of a rushdown moveset for the most part. To a degree, yeah. And having neutral options, I do feel like is important. I'm just wondering if I should keep the mic toss as just a projectile or give it a little something extra. I'll think about that one.
FNAF World. His side special will also be an attack from FNAF World, but this one, I promise, will be much scarier. It could be an attack known as Sludge. This was a debuffing attack in FNAF World that lowered your enemy's speed. So for Smash, it could have Freddy barf out a large amount of nasty looking sludge forwards from his mouth. The puked up sludge doesn't go very far, but when it hits the ground, it'll leave a puddle there that lasts for 10 seconds at a time. If any opponent is hit by the sludge or steps in the puddle, their running and jumping speed will be reduced for 10 seconds. This very idea and concept is terrifying. Imagine trying to run away from something that you know wants to kill you, but for some reason you're moving slow, allowing said something that wants to kill you to catch up. We've all had these kinds of nightmares, and they never get any less terrifying. Anyways, Freddy is immune to his own sludge, but it can be reflected before it becomes a puddle on the ground, in which case, then it would be able to affect Freddy. Now for his up special, for this idea...
A lot of you don't like sludge. See, in concept, I really do like this move, because again, like I just bring up, it's the idea of, like, in a nightmare, where if you're running, because I feel like we've all had those nightmares, where you're running from something, but again, like, you just can't seem to run fast enough. And the thing that's behind you, chasing you, is always, like, catching up for some reason. We've all had those nightmares. That's what this is emulating. Yeah, I actually agree with Helmet Jr. here. How is it goofy? Like, because again, we've also seen a lot of those horror movies where like the monster like pukes up something weird, like some kind of liquid out of their mouth or whatever. So that's kind of what this is thinking. What I am thinking of though, because I did just have a thought about something, but let me keep watching before I explain it.
I need to give full credit to my buddy Photon Bandit.
Oh, this is not changing.
Devin. He came up with this idea while I was chatting with him about this moveset, and it was just so good that I had to include it. It would have Freddy teleport.
But I thought you hated teleports!
Yes, I usually try to avoid those if there's something else more appropriate. But in this case, theming is everything. Whenever Freddy teleports, he would disappear and reappear behind a static screen. This references how when you're keeping a lookout for the animatronics through security cameras, and the short amount of static that appears while the screen changes between cameras. On top of that, there could be times where you can look through a camera to see an animatronic, change to a different camera, then immediately change back only for said animatronic to already be gone, and appear in a totally new location almost instantaneously, almost like they teleported. So while Freddy can't technically teleport, it's mostly more so giving off the illusion that you're changing cameras and Freddy quickly moved to a new location while you weren't looking. As for how it would function, it's still pretty much your run-of-the-mill teleport. It deals no damage, but can be sent into any direction, and it will put Freddy into freefall. And finally, for Freddy's down special, he would do a jump scare.
Excuse me, you said at the beginning of the video that you weren't doing jump scares.
What? Wait, I'm not actually going to scare you guys with a jump scare, it's just that I just can't win.
Yeah, that was me jumping up. Like, I learned my lesson from how I described Undyne being a straight fighter. I learned my lesson. Anyway. Freddy's not a monster, he's just a robot possessed by a scared child. I honestly think treating him like a monster kind of takes away from his character. Well, wait, what character? He's a robot. It's like, I've never seen Freddy actually have a character. He's literally supposed to just be a monster. I also never really got the impression that, like, I'm sure the children are scared, of course, but I always got more of, like, the vengeful spirit kind of deal going on with them, regardless. Yeah, I think Kyle always puts it best. He's a tragic monster, but he's still a monster. Like they're still like, regardless of what they actually are, like, you know, like backstory and lore wise or whatever, like they're still meant to scare the player, and that's the idea here. Real quickly though, let me just continue this.
Anyways, this would be a status attack, having Freddy scream forwards, and anyone directly in front of him will be dealt a small amount of damage as well as stunned, with the stun time scaling based on their current damage. Yet another attack that will leave you at the Murderbot's mercy. And another thing, this special actually will be doubled in effectiveness if you can hit a foe with it from behind. After all, being jump scared from the front may be bad, but from behind, that's a whole different demon. The foe will only be stunned if they're on the ground when it connects, by the way. If it hits them in the air, they'll just be launched away.
No one look behind you. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking here. Mic toss I'm keeping. The camera change special I'm keeping as well. So here's what I'm thinking. I actually kind of want to switch sludge and jump scare. So here's my reasoning here. So change, make this jump scare, and then down special, change, make this sludge. And then I kind of want to effectively redo jump scare. So sludge, I think, can stay the same as is, but I want to redo jump scare and have it be a move where I guess it's not technically a jump scare anymore, but to a degree it still kind of is. I want to make this a move where while Freddy's screaming, he's also running at you or lunging at you. Turn it into a horizontal type of side special. Like a horizontal movement side special. Something along those lines. So like, imagine the idea that he's running at you while screaming. Like, I guess that can work as a jump scare. Because I guess the idea is that a dash special, a dash special basically, yeah. Because like, I guess like, imagine the idea of which games in Five Nights at Freddy's was it where for the jump scare moment it shows the animatronics literally lunging at you or running at you? Which, because I know there was games that did that. Two. Okay. But only Foxy did that? What did I see here, though? Hold on one second. Five Nights... Freddy... Fazbear official renders... Gallery... Hold on. Here we are. What was this from? Hold on. Is that actually... No, that looks like a lunge. Here, let me show you guys. Which one is it? I guess this one. Here, this. What is this? You guys see this, right? Like, what are these animations from? 'Cause I saw these earlier when I was looking for like images to use in like the thumbnail art and whatnot. But like, what are these from? FNAF AR. Okay, but it is something he's done. It's a little more recent than this moveset, so there's a reason why I wouldn't have been, like, I wouldn't have gotten the idea beforehand, but, like... Again, I guess, yeah, like, the direction my head's kind of going here is literally the idea of, like, the horror monster, chasing you, screaming at you while they chase at you. Pretend Freddy is all animatronics at once, like the Fred moveset, or like the Red moveset. I don't think I need to take that direction here. That's not a lunge. You just never see the legs, so they just walk out. Okay, well, I guess despite... Again, I'd have to actually look at all the games, like, to get a better idea. But despite that, like, does the idea of a side special where he's running and screaming at you sound appealing? Because I think that does. It would give the moveset a little more movement. It would give it, again, it's something scary that can happen. Make it a command grab. See, yeah, should I make it a command grab? Or should I keep it kind of how I had before, where it's a stun? Isn't that the dash? Well, I have the dash attack be a literal lunge. Like, he like, lunges into the air and crashes on the ground. Here, I'm thinking of making it more like he's running at you. He starts running. And actually, if I do this, I can actually keep the I can actually keep the side smash the same. Then I wouldn't need to change the side, because I brought up before how I think the side smash might need to be changed, because that's kind of what I already did for the down special, because the down special is literally just a standstill scream. But if it's a scream while he's also running at you, like, then that helps differentiate it from the side smash. Okay, so yeah, so make this jump scare. Have him dash forward while screaming. And I'll think a little more, I'll probably think a little more of how I want to kind of make it work. But we are running low on time, actually, so I'll kind of think more about it off screen, like in my own time. But yeah, so switching jump scare and sludge, turning jump scare into a movement dash. Sludge, I think, can stay the same. I don't think we need to change sludge, because I know a lot of you don't like sludge. I still like sludge. I like the concept behind it. Like, unless you guys can have a I got it, guys. I got it. Hold on. So, there were a lot of people that I remember that didn't like that I didn't include the move Pizza Roll, or Pizza whatever it was, from FNAF World. I never cared for that move. It was way too goofy for me. So what if, for Sludge, what if the Sludge was barfed up pizza? Like this just gross looking barfed up pizza. How does that sound, guys? Pizza wheel? Okay, yeah. I don't want pizza wheel. That move was too goofy for me. Sounds more like a Chica thing. Wasn't Chica's whole thing the cupcakes, though? Like, pizza... Like, Freddy was the pizza mascot. Freddy's like the one eating the pizza that's really only Chica? Wait, do any of them actually eat pizzas? They're robots. Like, it's just supposed to be a weird horror monster thing. Bad pizza? Chica is a glutton. Oh, is that like the actual character? Okay, I gotcha. I mean, nothing says I can't have them both have that kind of attack. Even if it changes a little bit depending on the character, but like... Because I still like the idea of Freddy having some kind of attack that slows you down. Again, emulating the nightmare scenario of being chased by someone who's catching up to you. Yeah, making it like the barfed up pizza, I think just adds more to it being the pizza mascot thing. All right, we'll come back to that one. I do still like the idea of it just being this gross barfed up pizza, though. This I think can say the same.
Freddy's final smash would no doubt be the scariest of them all. It could be a cinematic final smash that can only catch one foe at a time, starting with Freddy emitting some electricity straight forwards to catch a foe. If it does catch someone...
Just spitballing, but what if jump scare can function as some kind of pseudo counter? I'll think about it.
The poor sap will be brought to a night guard room, where suddenly the lights just turn off. Then behind the foe, you'll see Freddy's silhouette in the darkness while his eyes flicker and hear a little bit of his Theodore jingle. That is until the foe turns around and is immediately jump scared by Freddy, who screams in their face. This smash will deal a ton of damage, and if they end up with more than 100%, it's an automatic KO. This final smash overall makes reference to the FNAF game's gimmick of having limited power for the Night Guard to protect themselves with, and how if they run out of power, that usually spells their doom.
Yeah, this final smash is fine. That one doesn't need to be changed.
Now there's been a lot of different bear animatronics to use as references when making alternate costumes for Freddy. A lot of these are just going to have to be colors though, not costumes, since some are too drastic in shape to be passable as a costume, and others are even missing limbs, so that just won't work. Anyways, Freddy's default outfit would have him in his iconic classic design that started it all in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. His first alternate color can make him blue, in reference to the rabbit animatronic Bonnie, or it can be based off the little Freddy ghost that Golden Freddy...
So many people were sitting like, that Bonnie's purple, it's... In all due reality, Bonnie's actually kind of this weird color in between. But like, whatever.
...uses to attack in FNAF World. Next could be a red color, referencing the Fox animatronic Foxy, but it could also be a reference to the red bear enemy in FNAF World. Next could be a gold color that gives him a purple hat and tie, in reference to Fredbear, the original bear animatronic before Freddy, and the one who more than likely became who we know today as Golden Freddy.
I know for that one, there were a lot of people asking where's the Chica color? Golden Freddy. They're both yellow, so there's no reason to have two yellow ones.
It's a dreadful, dull yellow color with black stripes and stains, referencing Phantom Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Next is a really dark purple color, referencing Shadow Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And next can be an alternate costume, where you can play as the kind of cuter but still terrifying Toy Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And this costume can have a single alternate color that makes it white and pink, in reference to Funtime Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's sister location. For the stage intro, it could...
Now, I do know since this moveset came out, a few more Freddy colors have popped up. So, we're not going to go into that now. in my own time, I will look into them, and I will change them accordingly. Because currently the colors, Toy Freddy wouldn't work as a costume to me. I feel like Toy Freddy could be a color. Hoping for glamour up in the future. Weathered Freddy should replace Toy Freddy. I think for the most part the colors are fine as they are. But again, it just depends, because I know a lot of new ones came out since this video since this video was released. So I'll play it by ear there.
Show Freddy performing on a little stage of his own. That is until he enters free roam mode and steps off of it, ready to hunt for some night guards. For taunts, his first could have him pull out a fresh pizza and hold it into the air for a bit before shoving the whole thing into his mouth.
Oh, actually, no. Now suddenly the sludge down special makes so much more sense, because he pulls out this pizza and just shoves it into his mouth. Suddenly, yeah, the down special being barfed up pizza suddenly makes a lot more sense. There we go, guys. See, it worked. That worked itself out.
He is a pizzeria mascot after all, and what kind of pizzeria mascot wouldn't want to show off their pizza? His second could have him just look towards the screen at the players. And that's it. This simple but creepy taunt references when the animatronics stare directly into the security cameras while you're trying to keep an eye on them. And his final taunt can show his eyes flickering for a second while you hear the first couple of notes from Toreador March. And finally, for victory animations, his first can have him singing, just like he does when he performs on stage during the day when he's not in free roam mode. His second is one that I was reluctant to give him, but it makes sense for his character, so I really don't have much choice. It would start with nothing on screen until he jumps out from below for a jump scare, referencing of course the game overs when Freddy and the other animatronics do just that. If they can jump scare you, that is a win for them after all. I wouldn't worry too much about it actually being an effective jump scare in Smash. If you see the FNAF icon appear but nothing on screen, you'd be able to see it coming no problem. Anyways, for the final victory animation, it can just show Freddy's body twitching as his circuitry glitches out and his eyes glow, until suddenly the lights in his eyes just go out and his body goes limp. This references the good ending of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, which showed the heads of the animatronics finally powered down, which implied that the children haunting them had finally departed and moved on. Huh, how about that? My first horror-themed character that I've covered, and it ends on a kind of lighter note. Well, regardless, that does it for...
Okay. Taunts are fine, though I think I do kind of want to add a little more to the third taunt. Because just the flickering eyes with the Theodore March sound, he could probably be doing a little more than that. So I'm just going to make a note, add to it. Because the actual taunt idea I like. I think there needs to be a little more to it. Victory animations. The singing, I think, is okay. I do love the, the eyes flickering out. The jump scare one, though. I'm still reluctant on this one, so I think this one's a possible change. It may also depend on, I guess, yeah, newer stuff to use, potentially. We'll see. Alright. So yeah, Freddy's moveset, for the most part, definitely does need a little improvement. So, yeah, so I guess of the movesets so far, within, I guess, this era of my movesets, yeah, I do think need a little bit more. Yeah, he needs a little bit more work. All right. I noticed this was also the most contentious one with you guys. You guys love your Five Nights at Freddy's, don't you? Oh, you kids and your Fredbears and your Chicas. Alrighty then. So actually, what time are we at? Yeah, 1:04. Okay, so yeah. Alright, last moveset of the stream. My personal favorite Sonic character.
Sheesh, there always seems to be a lot of police around when you don't need them. Tails, any news yet?
For some reason, I'm not getting a signal from the 6 remaining Chaos Emeralds. Maybe Eggman took the emeralds into outer space.
This is voice acting, everybody.
Outer space?
I won't hop on him too much. He was literally just a kid.
Knuckles!
That's so dumb. And thank you, Ray, once again for the 100 Canadian dollars. You are way too kind. I very much appreciate that. Thank you so much.
The red powerhouse and rival to the blue blur, Knuckles the Echidna. But not only is he Sonic's rival, Knuckles is also one of his best friends. Of course, he wasn't always that way. Knuckles for a long time lived a secluded life on the floating Angel Island, where he alone guarded the mysterious Master Emerald. That is until one day when a certain egg-shaped scientist came along and tricked him into thinking that Sonic was coming to steal this precious gem, only to turn around and steal it for himself, of course. Sonic helped him get it back though, and after some time and getting tricked by Eggman some more, the antisocial Knuckles finally began to warm up to those around him, and now he's one of Sonic's most trusted allies, always willing to help Sonic out on his adventures, even if it means leaving the Master Emerald unguarded. Oof. I hope he has a guard dog left there or something. Knuckles may not be the sharpest guy around, thanks in part to his ignorance of the world after living alone for so long. And it doesn't help that in the Sonic Boom franchise, he's written to be a flat-out idiot. But I don't make a big deal about that since that is a separate continuity, not to mention hilarious. But in the main series, which is the one I'm focusing on, he's a professional treasure hunter with a lot of knowledge of geography as well as martial arts. Generally being a punch first, ask questions later kind of echidna. Though you probably would be too if you were strong enough to destroy boulders with a single punch. And that strength is what should be feared if you were to smash his way out of the assist trophy into the Smash roster. Knuckles would pretty much be the textbook definition of a glass cannon. He'd be really fast with attacks that would rack up damage about as quickly as the likes of Bowser or Ganondorf. But unlike those two, he'd be a very light character.
I know, if I recall correctly, some people made a big deal about the fact that I made Knuckles this light. Like Sonic's up here, and I put Knuckles down here. So I guess here's my question to you guys. Should I have it... Do you think it'd be a good idea to have a lightweight character who's super fast? Well, okay. Let me rephrase this. Having a character who hits as hard as a heavyweight and is also decently fast, like faster than most characters on the roster. What do you think would be the better, I guess, the better balance to keep the character from becoming overpowered? Making them super light, or should they have a lot of end frames on their attacks? What do you think is more balanced? Like more like lighter or more end lag? Because thank you so much, Ray. Yeah, so because a character like this is going to have end frames no matter what. I guess the question is, the idea is that if you don't want as many end frames to make the character harder to play, you want them to be lighter and easier to KO. So, what do you guys think? Why not both? Well, like I just said, like, a character like this is already... Like, when you have someone fast and hit super hard, they have to have they have to have end frames regardless. But, like, I guess kind of the way I'm thinking about this is, like, if you don't want too many end frames, you gotta make sure that... You gotta make them a super glass cannon. Like, they gotta be easy to KO. Like, so long as you can land the hits on them in the first place, that is. I believe I made Metal Sonic very light. I'd have to go back and check. Heavier than Sonic muscles. Well, naturally he's slower than Sonic. Like, Knuckles is not going to be faster than Sonic, but, like, he also hits way harder than Sonic. I did make Metal lighter than Sonic. Yeah, but there's also a reason for that. Because the way I see it, there's a lot of characters currently in Smash that suffer from an issue where if they have too many end frames, like too many, like, then they become way harder to play with. Like, without, like, the proper, stubby range. feel like it's hard to get away with Knuckles, though. If only because he has these massive fists. The weight is not even... Well, yeah, well, okay. Yeah, I honestly, I should have brought that up in the first place, actually. Super Camaro, you're right. Smash weights aren't really a factor. Because also, look who... Well, at the time, I think this has been changed since then, but look who currently, on this list anyway, is lower than Pikachu. I think recently they have been changed where they're actually the same weight, but Mewtwo, I believe, is like this 200-something pound Pokemon. Pikachu doesn't weigh 200 pounds. And Mewtwo is also in featherweight. He's featherweight because he's a very fast character who hits pretty hard. Has, I believe a big thing as well is that they generally explain the featherweight with him being floaty. But regardless, like, these are not supposed to be canonical weights. They're not. They're just simply not. Like, they're here for balancing reasons. All right, we've spent actually way too much time on this. On this question. I mean, Captain Falcon is fast, hits pretty hard, and is a heavyweight. How heavy is Captain Falcon? Because I get what you're saying. Falcon's is also kind of mitigated by the fact that he has no projectile, like, at all. And that would be something to potentially do with Knuckles as well. I believe I did give him a projectile. I believe I did give Knuckles a projectile, and I'm not sure if I would take it away. Let me double check to see how heavy Falcon currently is, though. Hold on. Where is it? Files. Smash weights. Falcon, yes, is a heavyweight. He's a mid heavyweight. So he's around the same weight as like Yoshi and Min Min and all the like. That is actually a good point that you do bring up Falcon. All right, that's something I'm gonna have to think about for sure. Yeah, I'll think that one over.
Generally not being...
Isn't Sephiroth? Yeah, Sephiroth is super light, yes. But Sephiroth also has insane disjoint.
able to take hits that well himself. He'd have 2 jumps and would be able to both wall jump and wall cling. In fact, when he wall clings, he'd be shown like he does whenever he climbs walls, though he wouldn't actually be able to climb walls in Smash, just jump off of them.
The wall climbing thing. I'll have to think about that one actually, because I wonder if there's maybe some kind of way to incorporate the wall climbing. I'll think about that one.
Knuckles can have a 3-hit jab that mimics his most commonly used combo. So common, in fact, that he even uses it as an assist trophy, with the first 2 hits being a punch from each fist one at a time, and ending with an uppercut to send foes into the air for the...
Which he once again got in Sonic Frontiers, actually, if I recall correctly. That same combo. That's literally just his go-to combo.
3rd hit. His dash attack can have him do a horizontal double punch straight forwards. This move is also used as his dash attack in Sonic Battle. His side tilt can also be from Battle, having Knuckles do up to 2 hits with consecutive button presses, with the first hit being a vertical hook from high to low, and then a vertical hook from low to high with the other fist for the second hit. This tilt actually will move Knuckles forwards a little bit after each swing. The up tilt can be a quick overhead backwards to forwards headbutt, which was an attack that he used in the game Sonic the Fighters. For his down tilt, it can be an innovative move where he does a quick low to the ground punch. For Knuckles' side smash, he could use his powerful ground power skill from Sonic Battle, the Deep Impact. It's a straightforward punch, but he punches so hard that the air explodes around his fist at the apex of the punch. This is by the deep. For his down this tilt actually will move Knuckles forwards a little bit after each swing. The up tilt can be a quick overhead backwards to forwards headbutt, which was an attack that he used in the game Sonic the Fighters. For his down tilt, it can be an innovative move where...
I'm feeling a little iffy about the up tilt and kind of the down tilt as well. A little iffy about those. I'm going to say possible changes for these.
He does a quick low to the ground punch. For Knuckles' side smash, he could use his powerful ground power skill from Sonic Battle, the Deep Impact. It's a straightforward punch, but he punches so hard that the air explodes around his fist at the apex of the punch. This is by far one of Knuckles' deadliest attacks, capable of KOing foes or even at lower damage percents. But of course, it does have some end lag. His up smash can be a double-fisted hammer swing from low to high, his Enrage skill from Sonic Battle. This up smash would really only be able to hit foes who are in front or above Knuckles. And his down smash can make reference to attacks that Knuckles uses that involves him punching the ground so hard that it hurts nearby foes or knocks them off balance. For smash, he'll punch the ground and create a shockwave that extends outwards horizontally. The shockwave is what deals the big damage, of course, but it also may have a chance to trip foes if their damage percents were low enough to not get launched. His neutral air can be similar to Sonic's, where he curls up into a ball and spins erratically. While it is like Sonic's, it comes from Sonic Fighters, which is also where Sonic gets it from. His forward air can have Knuckles use the Meteor Punch, his pursuit skill from Battle. It's a double hammer punch from high to low, and as the name suggests, it can spike if it sweet spots. The back air can be a quick horizontal elbow jab backwards that he holds for a second. This comes from his backwards ramp attack from Sonic Advance 2. The up air can be a quick straight punch upwards. It has poor horizontal range, but it hits hard vertically. And his down air can be his air hook skill from Battle, where he does a quick punch diagonally downwards. It's not that great at hitting directly below him, but it does come out quick, and it's great for spiking foes if it connects properly. So really, this attack is comparable to that of Ryu and Ken's down air to give an apt comparison.
Kind of want to change that up air. I almost want to change the neutral air too. Yeah, I think I will. Okay.
Knuckles can grab with one hand and pummel by punching with his other hand. For his forward throw, he'll spin the foe in hand and then send them forwards, just like he does when he uses the Team Blast in Sonic Heroes or the Knuckles Sandwich in Sonic Chronicles.
So it's an airplane throw, I think is what it was called.
His back throw can have him use the Shadow Box attack from Sonic Fighters, where after he grabs the foe, he quickly zips behind them and then punches them to send them backwards. His up throw can have him just chuck the foe high into the air, just like he does to Ray in that Sonic Mania short. And his down throw can have him do a short jump with the foe in hand, and then dunk them into the ground as hard as he can, referencing his attack from Sonic Heroes where he spikes Sonic and Tails as projectile attacks.
Those are all fine. Actually, I do like those throws, actually.
For Knuckles' neutral special, he could use his Rock Freefall skill from Sonic Battle, where he pulls out a huge boulder and then chucks it forwards at a slight angle as a projectile, which then crumbles if it hits the stage. It's large, and it deals a lot of damage and knockback if it hits, but unsurprisingly, it's kinda slow, and doesn't actually fly that far. That said, despite its speed, it can still be used as a nasty edge-guarding pressure tool, as it will only disappear if it hits the ground, another player, or goes off-screen. It works like this even if used in the air, I should add. I know that there is an air version of this skill in Battle called the Meteor Crush, but I think for the gameplay of Smash, a move like that might be a little too overpowered. As for where he would pull the rock out of when he's in the air, I don't know, probably the same place where Sonic pulls the spring, Banjo the shock pad, Snakes his boxes or the ciphers, Diddy Kong his rocket barrel, King K. Rool his blunderbuss and propeller pack, Villager his everything. You know what? I think you guys get the idea.
It's called Hammer Space. That also said, I think I'd change the neutral special. It's kind of blasphemous for me to say that because I am like the big rock guy. I love like the rock type and such like that. I think I would change it though. To what, I'm not totally sure. Some people brought up how the deep impact punch could be the neutral special, but I kind of don't want it to be that. But yeah, I think I actually do agree with some of you, though, where we can make Knuckles a little heavier if we remove his projectile. So, I'll go ahead and... Yeah, I think I'll remove the rock freefall. What I'd replace it with, though, I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to think on that one. So yeah, we'll come back to it.
For the side special, it could have Knuckles do one of his most signature skills, gliding. Apparently, Knuckles is somehow able to trap wind under his dreadlocks, and this allows him to be able to glide forwards while slowly descending. And he'll do that just for Smash. You'll need to hold down the special button after activating the glide to keep it going, and will begin to drop as soon as the button is let go. While gliding, you'll fly pretty quickly while slowly descending, and it will deal small damage to any foe who makes contact with Knuckles' fists as he's gliding. You'll also be able to turn around while gliding. However, turning is rather sluggish, and you don't stop descending while you do so. Plus, you can't deal damage while turning, so this would be where you're at your most vulnerable. Also, if you were to glide straight into a wall, it would put Knuckles into an automatic wall cling state, just like with Lucario's Extreme Speed Up special. And finally, dropping out of the glide will not only not put you into free fall, but you'd actually be able to break into another glide if you'd so wish. This move overall makes Knuckles' horizontal recovery fantastic, plus it's great for some safe mix-ups with all of its options. But while his side special allows Knuckles for some great horizontal recovery, his vertical recovery is...
Okay. So I think this was another... I think actually this side special was another reason why I needed him to be so light. Because here's actually... So if you remember with Captain Falcon, yes, Captain Falcon's fast, he hits hard, and he's heavy. But Falcon's recovery is kind of pitiful. Falcon doesn't have the greatest recovery. I do make a point here, though, with Knuckles, that he has a fantastic horizontal recovery, but his vertical recovery isn't that great. So again, I might just have to think about that. Actually, that said, I say that, but that said...
something to be desired. His up special can have him use his rising spinning uppercut attack, where Knuckles does a rising spinning uppercut. While his fists are on fire, it hits hard, especially at the start of the move, but it doesn't actually send him up that high. I made it like this as that does actually reflect Knuckles' general gameplay styles, as while he is fast and has great horizontal options, he usually has the worst jump compared to the other Sonic characters. He usually doesn't need to worry too much about this since he can climb walls, but for Smash, he'll just be a fast character with a kinda weak jump. But while he's not great in the air...
you know what, actually... I bring up this point. Maybe that actually is a reason for me to make Knuckles a little heavier. Okay. And especially if I do remove the projectile. Yeah, okay. So I can make Knuckles heavier in that regard. That said, one very important change does need to be made here with this up special though. So let's see. Change will not put Knuckles into free fall. And can be used as many times as you want in the air. I mean, it's faithful to the games. I mean, haven't you played Sonic Frontiers? Knuckles can just jump infinitely. So, I mean... Even in Sonic Boom, he had an infinite jump. So it's just being faithful, right? Whenever he uppercuts, he can just keep doing it over and over again. He can just infinitely go into the air. I'm kidding, guys. The up special doesn't need to be changed. Anyway.
He loves the ground. In fact, he loves it so much, he also likes to burrow into it. And that can be his down special. While on the ground, using down special can have Knuckles dig straight into the ground, and any foe too close as he digs will be hit with some small damage. But if he's in the air, he'll use the drill dive attack and dive straight down while spinning like he does in Sonic Adventure 2. And he'll keep drilling until he touches a solid part of the stage, which will then lead to Knuckles burrowing under just like he does if he used it on the ground. If he digs or drills into a platform, however, he'll just pass through it and it cancels the attack. This, by the way, is the only way to cancel the drill aside from just burrowing. So if you try using it with no stage underneath you, you're gonna lose a stock. While drilling, foes that make contact will be dealt multiple flinching hits of damage while being dragged down with Knuckles, and will be launched.
Gonna make a small change there, actually, right there. Hold on. So add can be canceled with side special. So just like in Sonic Adventure, you can cancel the drill with a glide
once he begins to burrow. Now, as for what Knuckles can do while underground, he has a couple of options. While burrowed, you'll be able to kind of slowly move left and right. You will be able to dig past foes or items without pushing them, but you will be stopped at ledges. He'll only be able to remain underground for about 3 seconds, after which Knuckles will automatically jump out of the ground with an uppercut, dealing only decent damage, but high knockback to any foe who was above him. This uppercut will also deal a lot of shield damage, capable of breaking shields early if the foe lets himself get hit too much. The uppercut also does have a bit of end lag.
I think my reasoning for making this do a lot of shield damage was because the idea was that you were burrowing past their defenses. Like generally when you think of burrow tactics, when you dig underground, you're trying to dig past like a wall or something. So you're penetrating their defenses that way, and I think that's still fine for this.
But you will be able to manually uppercut out of the ground sooner if you so wish by pressing the attack button while burrowed. Or, if you're afraid that you're going to be punished for sure, you can press the special button instead to just have Knuckles not attack and emerge from the ground normally, which has significantly less end lag to allow you to get away.
Wait, what did I say?
Finally, punished for sure, you can press the special button instead to just have Knuckles not attack and emerge from the ground normally, which has significantly less end lag to allow you to get away. Finally, you'll always know where Knuckles is based on pushed up dirt, and other players will actually be able to hit him out of the ground if they can hit the pushed up dirt with a lower attack.
Okay, so aside from that one little change where he can cancel the drill into the side special, I think is fine. Okay, so the gliding I think is fine. Yeah, the flaming uppercut is fine. And yeah, the drill dive is fine. It's really just the neutral special that I would outright change. Instead of digging, he will slam the ground with a paralyzing shockwave to stun opponents before they get launched by their own or by a follow-up attack. I get the idea. I feel like that'll make it too samey to what I did with the down smash. Plus, I feel like Knuckles needs to have some kind of form of digging. Because he's pretty known for digging. Scroll up. What?
Based on pushed up dirt, and other players will actually be able to hit him out of the ground if they can hit the pushed up dirt with a lower attack.
If you press the special button while airborne, right when he reaches the stage, he'll perform the ground shaker. Oh, okay, I gotcha. So either that or digging. Sorry. Okay, gotcha. Okay. That's not a terrible idea. I suppose that could work as a type of feint. Like, if you don't want to dig at all, but you still want to use it. Like, some way to be able to use the drill dive without actually needing to dig. And digging's just an option. I don't think the stun aspect is needed. Because again, because yeah, the ground shake you brought up was already. I have that as the down smash, but I do like this direction you're bringing up for it though. So I'm thinking then maybe what we can do for it, because I like this idea. So add as well. Let's say if you hold the attack button while drilling down, he won't dig, but instead will use the down smash once he reaches the ground. I kind of like that idea. What do you guys think? Like it's just the normal down smash. So yeah, because that is a good point you brought up, Willie. How digging probably can get a little predictable if you're not careful. So having mix-up options, especially for a character like Knuckles, Knuckles is, for the most part, known for being a bit tactical with his fighting. Because again, he's not very bright. Like he's very ignorant. He's very ignorant to the world. He's very easy. He's very easy to play around with. But he's like Goku in a sense. He's ignorant to the world, but is a brilliant fighter. He knows how to fight, for sure. So him having different kinds of battle tactics, I think, is still fitting enough for the character. All right. Everything else about the next special was fine. Yeah, gliding I think is fine as is. Yeah, like are we sure we can't have his up special be the infinite Knuckles jump glitch? Just give him an infinite up special. It'd be faithful to the games, guys. Okay, I'm done. I'm not changing this. No, none of you can ever convince me to change this.
Lie. This is my favorite idea for a Final Smash that I've ever come up with. Knuckles can have a cinematic Final Smash that starts with a large punch, and any foe hit by said punch will be pulled in. The cinematic then starts with the caught foe landing in an ocean, leading the camera to pan out to show Angel Island floating above. It then shows Knuckles at the Master Emerald altar wiping his hands, implying that he just knocked the caught foes off of the island. But then almost immediately, it shows the Master Emerald being stolen, whether that's by Eggman, Rouge, or whoever, and before Knuckles even realizes what's going on, Angel Island begins to fall and lands right on top of the foes in the water below, dealing big damage and knockback to the caught foes when the cinematic ends. Aside from this idea being hilarious, it's just sadly fitting for Knuckles, and I honestly like it a lot more than Hyper Knuckles.
Yeah, I'm not changing that. I refuse to change that.
For colors, Knuckles of course will be defaulted to his usual getup and red fur. His first ult can make him pink, in reference to Knuckles' super form, Hyper Knuckles. His second
is it still called Hyper Knuckles? I think it is just Super Knuckles. Because I remember him bringing that form up in Frontiers. I think he just called it Super Knuckles. Yeah, where did Hyper Knuckles come from?
Green hues in reference to the Master Emerald. Next can be blue hues in reference to Sonic. Then yellow hues in reference to Tails. Here's an orange color in reference to Tikal, the ancient Echidna tribe princess. Next is dark brown in reference to Pachacamac, the old Echidna chief and Tikal's father. And finally, here's a white color in reference to the evil Imperator Ix.
Kinda super want to change this one. I mean, the color, I guess the color stuff is fine. So.
The evil Echidna tribe leader of the Dark Brotherhood from Sonic Chronicles. For his stage intro, it can just have Knuckles emerge from the ground and end on a pose. For taunts, Knuckles' first can have him cross his arms and chuckle. Despite the fact that his theme song says that unlike Sonic, he won't chuckle, this taunt is clearly a reference to his iconic gesture from his debut game, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. His next can have him get angry and hold a battle-ready pose while shouting, "I'll make you eat dirt!" And his final can have him start shadowboxing, then pose while saying,
"I will protect the Master Emerald."
And finally, for victory animations, his first can have Knuckles shadowbox, then give a thumbs up while saying,
"Yeah, I feel good."
As you can guess, Knuckles really likes the Shadow Box, but the thumbs up references his victory pose after completing levels in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. His second can have him turn around, wipe off his leg, then look at the camera while doing a fist bump and say,
Phew, that was pretty tough.
This references one of his victory animations in Sonic Advance 2. And finally, his last victory animation can have him just standing next to the Master Emerald with his hand on it, then just laid down next to it with his arms crossed to rest. No direct reference to anything, but it does emphasize how at the end of the day, Knuckles will always go back to continue his duties as the guardian of the Master Emerald. At least, I hope he does. Anyways, that does it for What If Knuckles the Echidna was in Smash.
Okay, the taunts I think were all fine. The victory animations I think were all fine. Let me go back and look at those colors again, though.
For colors, Knuckles of course will be defaulted to his usual getup and red fur. His first ult can make him pink, in reference to Knuckles' super form, Hyper Knuckles. His second can give him green hues, in reference to the Master Emerald.
Like, I think my reasoning for a lot of this fur color was I believe this was like some of like the varying fur colors of some of like the other echidnas that we just see like in the background of like Sonic Adventure. I think I might totally just be like making that up, but like I want to say that was the case.
Next can be blue hues, in reference to Sonic, then yellow hues, in reference to Tails. Here's an orange color, in reference to Tikal, the ancient Echidna tribe prince.
I don't know why I was so quick to show these colors. Like this editing for the showing the colors goes kind of bad.
Next is dark brown, in reference to Pachacamac, the old Echidna chief and Tikal's father. And finally, here's a white color, in reference to the evil Imperator Ix, the evil Echidna tribe leader of the Dark Brotherhood from Sonic Chronicles.
I might change the green, blue, and yellow ones. And maybe the white, because not canon, but... When you said hues, did you mean his shoes? Because the fur was not really... Well, there was technically a hue on them. But editing-wise, I probably could have done a little better for them. Because the sad thing is, this actually is a great color. Like, a great alternate color for Knuckles. But, again, considering what I'm referencing... I mean, it's better than trying to reference anything Ken Penders did. I'll put possible fixes for colors. I'll come back to the colors later. Yeah, alright, so...
Anyways, that does it for What...
Do not mention whom must not be named. Oh, wait. Is that like not mentioning creator of Sonichu? Because after what happened to me recently on Twitter, I have learned I will never ever mention that person ever again. And let me mentioning it here be the last time I ever do mention them, to let you guys know that I'm never mentioning them ever again. All right. Anyway. So regarding Knuckles, so a bit more that I would want to fix around with this moveset. But for the most part, it was okay. Yeah, mainly just changing neutral special, adding a little to the down special, changing up and down tilt, and then neutral and up air. All right, cool. So I think that's about it. Sick. All right then. So yeah, that is where I'm going to go ahead and end today's stream. Who was next? I think next was Agumon, which there's a reason why I didn't actually put Agumon into this stream, because that's a pretty long video. Yeah, it was Agumon. Who was after Agumon? Flowey. And then Bread. Oh. The There might be a good chance that the next time I do this stream, it'll only be 2 characters, and it'll probably just be Agumon and Flowey, because both of those are pretty long movesets. And with Bread, that's going to be a weird one, because technically I didn't make that moveset. You guys did. I'll probably still give my opinion on it, of course, but regardless of such. Alright, so that's where we're going to end things off. Real quickly before I go, I'll go ahead and give another quick announcement regarding my hand, because I talked about this at the beginning of the stream, but people were still showing up. So I did finally see the hand surgeon today. I got to finally see him. No more canceled appointments. I got to sit with him face to face. And you know, he gave me an X-ray. He gave me a proper diagnostics. I do in fact have tendinitis, for sure this time. And he scheduled a surgery for me on the 9th. So come the 9th, that will be when I get my surgery. After that, I'll probably spend like a week or 2 recovering. But then after that recovery period, I should be able to get right back to work. Right back to making movesets. And potentially also, making the adventure mode videos that I want to make. Making these remade moveset videos that I want to start doing. I can just get right back to it. And hopefully not destroy my hand again from too much drawing. Anyway, that's where that's where we stand currently with everything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you all again soon. Later.